Alrighty, welcome back to another test drive unlimited 2 video. In this video I'm going to be testing out the Maserati Levante and its performance stats that I've imported into the game. Now, basically I brought in the Maserati Levante, well, started to me the Maserati Levante mod for me, and I've made some stats for it just to test to see how it would be against other B3 cars, and I've tried my best to make it as competitive as possible and make it like as good as possible basically, and I've mostly succeeded in that. So yeah, this is the track that we're going to be going on. This is going to be the, I think it's called East Molly track from the B3 High time attack mission, except it's shortened quite a bit. It's 2 times shorter. Before I believe it actually ended somewhere around here or something like that, but I've shortened mine and I've actually reduced the amount of checkpoints that the other one had, but it basically follows the same exact route as the East Molly track from B3 High. I actually changed the checkpoints a little bit at the hairpin because frankly that checkpoint was really annoying. I moved it a little bit more past that hairpin, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get right into the track. And of course I'll be doing a benchmark real quick with the Spyker D8 Peking-to-Paris. So yeah, I'll join you guys. Well, I'll basically start the benchmark in a bit. Alright, so here we are with the Spyker D8 Peking-to-Paris. I'm going to be doing its benchmark time now. And we'll be comparing all the other cars to it. Since this is the most overpowered B3 car in the game, that's what the Levante will have to be slower than. Because frankly we can't have the boss cars, the bosses driving the most overpowered car in the game, because that wouldn't be 100% fair. Try my best not to hit these walls. Darn thing keeps spitting up its wheels. And that's not ideal. Could have sworn this thing was a lot better in the handling department. Then again, I actually just looked at the tuning to see if like I didn't screw something up with like working on a database for something. And indeed this thing is kind of trash. Okay, 1:38:14. That's the time we're looking for in this case. So yeah, that's a pretty good time, I think. Now I'm gonna switch to the Mercedes ML63 in a bit. So here we are with the ML63 now. I don't know why my car is all of a sudden so clean, but I guess that makes sense because I just spawned it in. This thing is a completely different beast in retrospect to the Spyker. Feels quite a bit lighter and just better overall in terms of handling, but top speed's quite a bit lower. That's kind of weird because this thing feels like it accelerates better. It's weird that the Spyker handles worse than this thing. Yeah, I take it back. This thing does handle quite a bit worse. But in terms of drifting, I think it's a little bit better. I always have to downshift over there, because that bump slows me down. This thing takes that hairpin quite a bit better actually. Maybe it's because it has a much higher ride height. So be careful with the corners, because otherwise I'll just run wide. The time we're looking not to beat is the 1:38.14. But with this thing, I don't think it'll even come close. And as I suspected, that is the case. It's a full 3 seconds slower. That's pretty good, I guess. So now let's get... I think I'm gonna take the Levante next now. I'm gonna test the Levante now finally. So here we are now with the Maserati Levante S. Now, as you can hear, the sound mod's not 100% accurate. This is Raymond Cobra's sound mod of the Levante, which isn't completely accurate. But yeah, I had the sound mod installed right now, and I just didn't have the time to uninstall it because I got right into making the videos, and yeah, I was just testing it and listening to it to see how good it really is. I mean, it's not bad, but it doesn't even sound remotely realistic to the Levante. It sounds like a V8. But yeah, as you can see, this thing is a completely different beast from all the other cars. Crap, I said I'd try and stay off the walls, but I'm breaking my promise. This thing handles the hairpin pretty well too. This thing has pretty short gear ratios, but the final drive is actually a pretty long ratio, I think. The final drive being of like a 2.8 or something like that. As far as I remember, the lower the number, the longer the ratio is. And that's what I'm looking for. Not really as fast as the Spyker D8, but it's like kind of in the middle so far. I don't know what my driver dude's doing. You can kind of see he's moving the wheels around, but whatever. But yeah, pretty good time with the Levante. I did a pretty good job with the tune, regardless of not being able to make it drift. But I think that's basically due to the fact that the car is so light that it doesn't even want to drift. But yeah, I've tried my best to make it drift, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, now the final vehicle we're going to take is the Audi Q7, Chris's Audi Q7, but it doesn't really matter, because I think all the Q7s use the same stats as just the basic Q7 that you can buy. So yeah, I'll get to the Q7 in a bit. So here we are with Chris's Audi Q7. Like I said before, it doesn't 100% matter which car I use, because all the Q7s use the same stats as the one Q7, the one that you can buy from the dealership, and the DLC one too as well. So I do have to say though, this thing is the worst B3 car in the game. It's really, really slow. It may have a big V12 with like 1,000 Nm of torque, but that doesn't help it with the fact that this thing is the heaviest SUV in the game. It really just doesn't really doesn't like accelerating at all. Kind of handles kind of okay for what it is, but it also feels like a big boat, which this thing basically is. If I were given a choice between the Q7 and the Levante, I'd take the Levante any day. Try my best to drive this thing, but I can't take it seriously because this thing is just an atrocious. It's horrible. It does drift really nice, though. But drifting isn't really the fastest way around a corner, though. Maybe for rally racing, kind of, but still, I think grip racing is just better. It's very drifty as well. As you can see, it's really just not that good. I mean, I could have done that quite a bit better, but at the end of the day, I think everyone could agree that this is just basically the worst car in the game in terms of performance-wise, and you're just better off with the Spyker at the end of the day. So yeah, I'll put some screenshots in a bit showcasing all the times of the vehicles from slowest to fastest, and yeah, that'll pretty much conclude the video. Now the last thing I want to do in this video is I want to show you my Maserati Levante 2 in all of its glory. As you can see, all the stats there on the sides, the top speed and everything else like that. It's in miles an hour. You guys can convert all of that stuff to kilometers per hour if you need to. But yeah, as you can see, there's all the stats. As you can see, it has 7 gears. But unfortunately, the problem I have with... Why does it say NA for all the wheel information? Whatever, that's not my concern right now. But basically, the problem with this game is the game only supports 7 gears, but the Maserati Levante in real life has 8 gears. But thankfully, the 7th and 8th gears are not really that useful. The car actually can reach top speed in 5th gear, but 6th gear is just kind of the recommended the gear, since you're not going to be hitting red line essentially. So now let's take it for a drive, and I'll show you the performance of it. You saw it in the cornering and so forth, but let's take it out on a straightaway and I'll show you exactly what I mean in terms of all of this performance and so forth. I'll let go in here. This is a nice straight road with a few corners. Now with automatic shifting, the Maserati Levante will actually shift at about 6,500 RPM, which is about here. But you could, with manual shifting, you can go all the way to 7,000 RPM, which is the vehicle's max red line. But as far as I know, the actual real max red line is 7,250 RPM, which is indicated by the gauges. There's a little notch at 7,250 RPM, which probably tells you that that's the actual rev limiter part of the gauge. But I didn't bother with that. As you can see, there's max speed, 179 in 5th gear. Try my best not to crash here. Make it back up to speed right here. As you can see, 179. Shift up, and there's 6th gear for you. As you can see, 6th gear is more of an overdrive gear as well. It's getting there. Put it in 7th gear, and it's even more of an overdrive gear. If you put it at 8th gear, I'm pretty sure it'll drop to like 3,500 RPM. Which, that's kind of the points of the higher gears. It's for fuel economy. Brakes are pretty good on this thing too as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll put the tuning stats, basically this tune, in the description of this video. Maserati Levante, actually, just a note, the Maserati Levante has 2 rim options, and you could just use the same rim stats for both rims, since they're basically the same rims. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.